Good morning, everybody. I thought the donut shop opened at 4:30. Apparently, don't open till 5:30. So we got about 20 minutes to sit here. I decided to turn this thing on and see who's awake. Wherever you are, I hope you're in a good mood. Woke up in a good mood. Woke up, said thank you for another day, opportunity at this thing called life. Always got to start your day with gratitude and prayer. And then go get the money. Or go do whatever you do. So we just sitting here waiting on Lamar's Donuts to open. Kobe turned 10 today. And I haven't seen my son on his birthday since he was 2. So, man, we're going to have a super mega awesome day. That's why I say I understand the fathers. Man, birthdays used to be a lot of FaceTimes. It was me writing letters and sending them to him. I've been blocked from talking to him a lot of his birthdays. So now that he get to wake up in my house, I'm going to be at work. So I'm up early to get him some donuts. And I'm going to have some donuts and some orange juice for him and all the kids. And then when I'll take a half day, and we're going to go to the college basketball experience and throw some alley-oops and then leave there and go swimming. Just invest in your children, you know. If you have children. And if you don't, then invest in yourself. But kids need a lot of attention from people that really care about them and not just trying to indoctrinate them to make them feel better about themselves. We live in a real crazy world. And I know if I had somebody closer to me when I was young, I definitely don't have 8 kids. I don't have, man, and I didn't have way more than that. I just make a lot better choices if I had somebody like me when I was a kid. I say a lot, if you didn't come from a strong family, make sure a strong family comes for you. And we lit over here, up early. I never thought I'd be doing stuff like this, but anything for the children, right? And they have no idea. They just gonna wake up and come downstairs and be shocked to see donuts, and daddy not even gonna be there. Just modern day Superman. And I know it's a lot of fathers and grandfathers and uncles and some stepfathers that's even out there playing Superman. So shout out to all y'all. The world needs more of us. We wouldn't have so many broken boys and people standing on the corner homeless. Wouldn't have so many girls walking around naked. My daughter yesterday, she was spending the night at my mother-in-law's house because her soccer practice is getting late at night. And the reason she didn't want to go over there is because she wasn't comfortable taking a shower anywhere else but at home. Like you can really raise modest young women if you want to, or you can let them be like society. You know, it all starts at home. And what type of example that you're setting for your children. I ain't perfect by no means, but every day I'm learning to be a better father, be a better husband, be a better individual. It's all about growth. I'm a lot better husband now than I was 7 years ago. I'm a lot better father now than what I was 14 years ago when I started this thing. And I encourage you to just 1% better every day. And a lot of times it's going to feel like it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. 5 steps back sometimes. God dang. But eventually you get to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like if you're driving from California to New York, you can't see New York right away. It get dark. You be like, am I going the right direction? You know, you got to stop for gas and all that. But eventually you start to see the bright lights. And that's where I met with my children. It was a long period of not getting to see my kids, not getting to talk to them, being put on child support. And to tell you how petty my baby mama was, she sent my child support papers to my girlfriend's mama house, my wife now. But she was really like, oh, y'all about to see what's going on. And so, like right now I have, crazy. So I had 2 9-year-olds because Junebug just turned 9. And now today, Kobe is turning 10. So right now I got 2 10-year-olds until the end of the month when JJ turned 11. And they got different mamas. So I was young and moving fast. And the world be encouraging, you know, young men to have a bunch of sexual partners. And man, look here. It ain't as sweet as it seems. or it is until you start getting them phone calls to say my period late. They start sending you pictures of ultrasounds and all that. Then it ain't all lovey, or So sexual discipline is something that's really need to be preached in society for young men. They say right now boys are having less sex than ever. That was never my life. I needed a break from sex. I needed to stop mixing my energy with other women. I needed to stop laying down with anybody that throw it. I was Randy Moss when I was young. If they was throwing, I was one hand catching and all that stuff, man. But I didn't value myself as a young man. And I think as young men, we aren't taught to value ourselves. It's all about, the numbers game and bragging how many bodies we got and going to school and talking to your friends and naming all the girls you done knocked off. And I look back and I don't remember half those girls. I can't remember their faces. But I remember my children's face when I see them at home. My children gave me a reason to really be a better person. And I hope each man finds a reason to become a better person. Because I heard this quote and it said, a man will destroy every woman in his life until he finds his purpose. And I really think that's true. Because I didn't value no woman at all. I'm sure I've met a lot of good girls before my wife, if I'm being honest, because I was with so many. But because I was with so many, there was no time to really know if anybody was a good girl or not. That's how I got the baby mamas I got, because I really wasn't paying attention to who they was. I was just sleeping with them. And once they pregnant, you kind of stuck with them. My first baby mama, to be truthful, I got off work one day, and there was a note on the windshield of my car that said, "Call me, cutie." That was December 4th, and by the end of December, she was pregnant with my kid. So it's not as cool as it seemed to be able to sleep with these women really fast, because you really don't know what you're getting yourself into. But as young men, we real impulsive. We have no self-control. We have no discipline. And we gonna take whatever comes fast. But what's sweet in the mouth turns sour in the belly. What's up, Stephanie? How you doing, boo? But yeah, so like both of my baby mamas, actually, I met them, my first baby mama left a note on my car. My second baby mama, I was leaving the gym playing basketball, and she ran up to my car and stopped me. And I want to say I slept with her probably in like 2 days of knowing her, and then I was pregnant. So I got 4 children by 2 women that I really don't know for real, like being honest, just because it's that easy. And these rappers and these movies, they make it seem like you could just sleep with people and just shake hands and go on your way. And it's like, that is not how life works. Hey, shout out to DJ John T. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, so I try to give the real truthful side of life, because there's a lot of falsehood, especially when it comes to sex and just laying down with people. I think I was from Sweden. Hey, I'm gonna pull up there one day. We're gonna get to shake hands and all that. I look forward to traveling the world. Like, I'm born and raised in Kansas City. I grew up in the homeless shelter here. So to really start to see how big the world is and how much we all got things in common, I look forward to crushing a lot of narratives. Because the TV, when they only show one type of person who grew up in the inner city. They show this little boy who didn't know his daddy, so he had to sell drugs to help mama out, and that ain't me. We was on Section 8 our whole life. We always had a house. Mama got her food stamps on the 21st of every month, so we always had shrimp and crawfish on that day. And another thing that was dope for me is I grew up with my daddy. Being on Section 8, you cannot have a man living there. So once a year when we would have our Section 8 inspection, we would hide all my father's things. And as a kid, I didn't like that at all. I really hated that we had to pretend that he wasn't there. So that always gave me the mindset that I was gonna have my own, because I'm not about to hide for nobody. I'm a man. And then when my father going in and out of jail, and him and my mom having such bad domestic violence, it gave me just different perspectives of life. Like, my mama has lived in every battered women's shelter here in Kansas City, like the Rosebrook Center, you name it. Like, so I have experience from watching. We lived in a halfway house when I was a kid. I can remember being a kid and going to sit in the court watching my daddy come out the back in the orange jumpsuit. So to see all these areas of life and understand, man, these are just people, and you can rise above that if you slow down and want to mentally. Oh man, it's like, oh, this life ain't as hard as it seems. Like, yeah, it's gonna throw obstacles at you, but it's all about your thinking and how you process information. That's why I like taking cold showers, because if you can stand in a cold shower and get a oh man, when something stressful happen in life, you'll be a lot more chill to deal with it. But if you overstimulate it with stress and talking to 45 girls at the same time and got to pay bills and car insurance and have a full-time job, it gets overwhelming. Like, I can say I was the worst individual when I was talking to the most women because I had no time for myself, truthfully. But when I slowed down and made time for myself, like, I wake up at like 3 o'clock every day, and I take that first hour, and it's just for me. Whether it's praying or stretching or writing or, taking a hot bath, I make time for myself, and that's something I didn't know to do when I was younger. We wake up right before we gotta go to school, and then you at school, half sleep in your first hour of class. I'm not really waking up to the middle of the day. Or you grow up and then you get a job, and then you wake up when the alarm go off and get dressed and get in the car and go straight to work. We never have time to set the tone for our day, so we get caught up in other people's energy. Like, if you've ever had an office job, when you walk in there, it can feel off. You can feel who got an attitude that day, who's stressed out about something. But when I start like getting up and setting time for me in the morning, it changed. Like, anywhere I go, like, I don't let people throw me off, or I don't let them pull me down. Like, I'm the light in that room, quote unquote. I tell my sons, you got to be the strongest magnet in that environment, or it's gonna pull you down. I got a lot of good friends that's dead right now, and they wasn't bad people, for real. They didn't even try to play tough guys. They just was a weaker magnet, and somebody pulled out a strap. Like, that falsehood that most of the homicides are from boys that are like King Von and Melly. That's so fake. All these boys, they scared, they sensitive, and they pull a gun out because they don't want to fight, because they embarrassed of what happens. And I teach my sons that, like, because live in the same environment. The world is a lot more diverse now. So when I was growing up around here, it was all black people. And now it's white people everywhere, Hispanics everywhere. And it ain't really any type of difference, except they all have, the kids fall to the worst part of culture. Rap music is really prevalent anywhere. And that low vibrational music, once you listen to it so much and then you're in a situation, you go into fight or flight, and you've took somebody's life and don't even realize it. Like, most of the dudes I know who had murdered somebody, they was high. They was on a pill, or they was drunk. So they didn't even know they did it until they woke up the next day in jail crying because they knew their life was over. Versus in the movies, they make it seem like everybody's excited to be a killer or a shooter. And I tell my kids, we was watching Indian in the Cupboard, if y'all have ever seen that movie. And maybe like, you shot me. Little bear, you shot me. It's like, nobody acts like that when they get shot in real life. Nobody just stands there and plays tough. They cry. If you've ever been to a funeral, everybody is standing around crying, grieving their loved one. No one is like, all right, we're going to get them back. No, it's extremely emotional. And for it to be painted as it's just something to celebrate, or it's just like tying your shoes, it's really disheartening. I can remember being a kid, at all my cousins and uncles' funerals, standing in front of their caskets, singing Puff Daddy, I'll Be Missing You. And when I was 14, I remember standing in front of my grandma's casket and looking at her in her casket, and I said I'd never cry again, because I was just so, at that point, I was so tired of seeing people in caskets. And mind you, my mama and daddy had really bad domestic violence, so my grandma was like my safe place. Like, I can go to her house, and I knew wasn't nobody going to be yelling at 2 o'clock in the morning, or cops wasn't going to be there, or none of that negative stuff. But when she passed away, my daddy kind of like lost himself. I want to say he didn't come out of his room for probably like 3 weeks straight. So to watch your father fall apart, it was just, it was weird, because you as a young man got to become the man of the house, but you still got this man here who don't do anything but, smoke cigarettes, drink beer, and beat on your mama. It was a interesting perspective. Like, true story, you can't see it for real, but my hand right here is broke. I punched my daddy in the face because him and my mama was fighting, and I had went in the bathroom and just started laughing really hard, and my hand had swelled up really big, and it was broken, and I had to miss playing basketball my senior year of high school. And I remember going to Children's Mercy Hospital, and the doctor was like, "What happened?" And I said, "Oh, I fell playing basketball." He's like, "That looks like a boxer's punch to me, a boxer's bone to me." But yeah, I always had this memory of, my daddy was outside. He told my mama to open the door. He was going to break the window. My mama unlocked the door, and this damn dude still broke the window. And so I was just so angry at that time that I opened the front door and started punching him in the face. But now I love my daddy to death. But just, I really got to have a traumatic life. And I'm saying, I know everybody, you may have not been fighting your daddy in the middle of the street, but you went through something, you know. My dad actually totaled out my first car when I was 16 years old. I had a 1985 Cutlass Sierra, and I was at the basketball court on 31st and Purcell, and he was drunk. And he was driving my car, and he went to 27th and Brooklyn gas station and totaled my vehicle out. But after that, this girl bought me a car, so whatever. I know not many 18-year-old boys can say a girl went out and bought them a car. It was only $2,500 cash, so it wasn't like she spent a lot of money, but to spend that much money on an 18-year-old boy is a lot of money. She was wild, but I appreciate her. And then the other side of that is I can remember my daddy waking me up at like 2:30 a.m. like, boo, your mama cheating on me. She over here with some nigga. And I'm like, what? And my daddy get me in a car, and he drives me to some apartment building. And I go up to the door, and I knock on the door, and some man opened the door, and I just started beating the hell out of him. And I see my mom in there. My mama screaming. She's like, oh, my God, boo, stop. So I went through a real unique experience with my mother and my father. But as my mom overdosed years ago, and my pops is still here, they just people, and they raised me the best they could with the knowledge they had. And I'm up at 5:30 in the morning getting donuts for my son, just trying to raise my kid the best I can with the knowledge I have. And if I can share anything with the people who happen to watch my channel, is be the best you can with what you have now, and life will continue to grow. YouTube is extremely unique for me because I promise it feel like this channel don't exist or that people don't watch it. I had 1 month where I got like 10,000 subscribers, and then ever since then I get like, 20 here or 30 here, or it'll tell me like, your numbers aren't valid, check back later. I'll have some days when I wake up and I got like 150 new comments, and then I'll be on the same YouTube creator app and I'll have like 2 weeks where I have no comments at all. So if you guys are watching the channel, I appreciate you. I love you all. Keep growing, keep becoming the best version of yourself. Look like the donut shop is finally open. So we're gonna see if I can pop in here and get my son his M&M donut like he asked, and get the rest of my kiddos they glazed donuts. And once again, if you did not come from a strong family, make sure a strong family comes to you. I never got birthday gifts my whole childhood. We was poor. Most of the time my lights was off during the summer. So it was really shitty, but it is what it is. Always make sure you handle your biz. Oh man. Morning, sir. It's my son's birthday, and I go play basketball at Hy-Vee Arena before I go to work. So I got to get his donuts, go home, drop him off, go play basketball, go to work, get off work. Hey, you got to do what you got to do for these kids, bro.
What you mean?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody worried about the adults and shit.
Hey, man, here. Thug, the crazy is everybody love Pac, but Thug Life stood for the hate you give little infants fucks everybody. If you don't pay attention to these kids, you wasting your time.
Oh, shit. If you got to tell them.
Look here, man. Yes, sir, man. God bless. You too. Appreciate you, sir. All right, y'all. Let me get out of here. I love you all.